From downtown Scranton, this is Northeast Current. WQPX invites you to join us as we explore public affairs, current events, and arts and culture in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Now let's meet today's guests on Northeast Current.
Welcome to Northeast Current. My name is James May, and I'm the press director for PennDot here in northeastern Pennsylvania.
I'm Mike Taluto, safety press officer for PennDot.
One of the things that we don't think about many times is that Labor Day is actually one of the holidays that is very high with crashes. This year, summer was one of the longest summers that we could have. If you think of summer as being that time between Memorial Day and Labor Day, Memorial Day was very early this year, and Labor Day is very late this year. However, a lot of people will be traveling over the Labor Day holiday, and Labor Day is also traditionally that time of year where kids start going back to school. So today on Northeast Current, we're going to be talking about how to stay safe on the roads. We're going to talk about how to stay safe in school buses, and we're going to talk about some of the things that can happen that we can do to help people stay alive if they are in a crash. So we're going to talk a little bit about school safety. Mike, schools are back in session, and I know that your job as the safety press officer is to help promote school bus safety. What are we doing around PennDot to try to keep people safe?
Well, we have this sign, this nice banner I have out here. We have schools drive safely. So, but we want to emphasize that there are three things: the parents, the students, and the driver.
Let's just talk about each one of those just real quickly. You said that parents have a responsibility, drivers have a responsibility, and the children have a responsibility. Right. Parents. As the parent of young people, what are some of the responsibilities that parents have in keeping their children safe when they get on a school bus?
Well, they should be promoting safety with their children. They should be at the bus stop with them, make sure they get there 5 minutes early so they don't have to run and catch the bus. So they need to be there and teach their kids safety.
You know, I think that one of the things you said there, making sure their kids are out the door on time. As the father of 3 children, they're a little bit older now, I will tell you many times getting ready for school, you're rushing out the last minute and you're just trying to get the kids there on time. And one of the things that we see around PennDot is that accidents happen when people are rushing, whether it's in a work zone, whether it's just even traveling around. But that happens as well at the school bus. When children feel like they're rushed and they see the school bus taking off or coming in, they're trying to get there quickly, that's when accidents happen. So the parents have a responsibility to talk to their kids and to make sure their kids are out the door on time. Drivers, what are some of the responsibilities that drivers have?
The driver has to be aware that now that this time that school buses are back on the road. So I mean, you're out all summer and you're not paying attention. So the big yellow buses are out there, and when they see the red stop sign, to make sure they stop.
Okay.
And if they don't pass a bus, because you don't really want, would you really want to go around if you hit a child in front of a school bus? So you want to stop, and if you don't stop, there are fines.
What are some of the fines? Do you happen to know?
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes here. We have a 60-day driver license suspension, could be one of them, 5 points on your driving record, and a $250 fine.
And you know, you alluded to it before that we can talk all day long about the fines and you know, jail time and anything else that could happen, but the idea of ever disobeying one of these laws and hitting and injuring or killing a child, there's no fine in the world that could ever make up for that.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with you.
So there's responsibility on the part of the parents, a responsibility on the part of drivers, and a responsibility on the part of the children themselves. What are some of those?
Well, when they get on the bus, they don't want to be. They want to get in their seat. They don't want to be running up and down the aisles. Make sure they behave. So there's a lot of responsibility on the child itself too.
Somebody was saying the other day that school buses are allowed to transport over 70 students. Now most don't have that many on at one time, but when you think about one driver having 70 students in his care, we all need to step up and make sure that we're doing what we can to be safe.
Right, and we don't want them running up and down the aisle. So if something happens, you don't want to fall in the bus or cause an accident or something.
So school is back in session, so folks, make sure that when you're traveling on the roads that you're staying safe, that you're paying attention to the laws of the road, but that you're just being extra careful this time of year. It is getting dark earlier in the morning and is getting dark later in the evening, so many times when we're traveling, especially those buses that are leaving early as we get closer to the winter time, it's dark when a lot of these kids are going to school.
Oh, absolutely.
So make sure that we're being safe, that you're not texting and driving, that you're not speeding. As drivers and parents, we have a responsibility, and to make sure that we're teaching our kids as well. One of the things I wanted to ask you was Labor Day, a lot of people are traveling, and I understand PennDot is having coffee breaks at some of the rest areas again. Tell us about those.
Okay, every year, every holiday, not every year, every holiday, we have coffee breaks at the rest areas throughout northeastern Pennsylvania. And what do local civic groups, Boy Scout groups, church groups, they set up a coffee break and they set up a stand there for you to stop and take a break.
And I always say it's a great way to get out and grab yourself a cup of coffee, grab yourself a cookie or a brownie or something, and to just kind of wake up as you're driving. But it's also a great way to really help out the community. You know, they have this stuff out there. It's a donation. It's free that they're giving it out, but they always have a little coffee can there that you can throw a couple dollars
right,
in.
And there's even a waiting list or a lottery for people for groups to even come to PennDot to do that.
So if your nonprofit is interested in that, you can email me, jamay@pa.gov. That's jamay@pa.gov, and I'll put you in contact with the right person who can help you and your organization get on that list to give away coffee and goodies at the rest areas with a little donation can out there to help out your civic organization. School's back. We're also going to talk with somebody in just a few minutes from Geisinger about a blood drive that's coming up, and also someone from the DA's office, how we can keep you safe on the roads this Labor Day weekend. Joining me now is Shane Scanlon, who's the Deputy District Attorney here for Lackawanna County. One of the things that we do, we can go out and try to promote safety as much as we can, but unfortunately, many times the best way to help people stay safe on the roads is, quite frankly, through the pocketbook and through enforcement. And so I know that we partner with you guys a lot. Can you just give us like an overview of what's taking place here in Lackawanna County as far as enforcement over the Labor Day holiday?
Sure. Labor Day tends to be the last hurrah of summer, one last blast for people, and we in law enforcement understand that as well, and we'll be stepping up our DUI checkpoints, roving patrols, and all types of motor vehicle code enforcement.
We're in the midst of our Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign. When you're pulling somebody over, you're looking for, traditionally it's always been alcohol, but I would venture to guess that it's much more than simply someone who is driving under the influence of alcohol these days. What else are you seeing out there as far as issues?
We're actually seeing a lot of synthetic marijuana anymore. We're seeing a lot of prescription drug abuse. Our officers are trained through the great folks at PennDot, along with other law enforcement agencies, to look for intoxication in all aspects and all forms. So really, we're looking for anything.
It really is moving away from that whole, you know, it used to be that it was just simply alcohol and yeah, those type of things. And really, if somebody is driving under the influence, even things like NyQuil and Tylenol and those things can really impair your driving too. So our goal is to make sure that people are safe behind the wheel, not only for the driver themselves, but also for the other people on the road to make sure that they are safe as well. You guys will be doing some of the checkpoints this year. I know that we don't want to give away all the locations of those, but you'll be doing those as well again this year?
That's correct. We're actually going to amp up our DUI checkpoints and roving patrols in the coming days.
And I know that you know, those type of things, a lot of people know that they take place in the day, they take place at night, so it's one of those things that we want to make sure that people understand the reason behind this stuff is not because we're just looking to give people a hard time. It's because we want to keep people safe on the roads.
And we're not looking to punish anyone or target anyone. We're looking to keep people safe. There are drunk drivers or impaired drivers on the road in the morning. There's impaired drivers on the road in the afternoon, and there's impaired drivers at night. We're going to be enforcing the motor vehicle code and the crimes code all throughout the day and night. One
of the stats I just saw, just yesterday, I saw it for the first time, that over 400 people were killed nationwide on the highways last year over Labor Day. And you look at that, and you don't think of Labor Day as being one of those, like the 4th of July or Thanksgiving, one of those holidays, but it was over 400 people were killed over the Labor Day weekend. One of the stats that really stuck out at me as I was looking at some of those stats was, of those people who are killed who are 12 years old and under, of those who are killed by a drunk driver, so you've got children being killed by a drunk driver, over 70% of the time, the drunk driver who killed the child was their own parent or guardian. And I looked at that and I thought, my goodness sakes, not only do we have people who are driving drunk, but you've got people who are driving either drunk or intoxicated or under the influence of something, and they're putting their kids in the back seat. And so, you know, this whole idea, we talked about it before, that, you know, we can work through the enforcement side as much as we can, but the idea of losing a life, taking somebody else's life, losing your own child's life because of a decision that you made, I cannot fathom what that would be like for somebody.
Yeah, last Labor Day was a very deadly weekend, holiday weekend here in our area. We don't want to see that repeated. We don't want to see your holiday marred by a tragedy or an arrest. And really, let's keep our families safe.
Thank you very much. Next, we're going to talk to someone from Geisinger. There's a blood drive coming up, and unfortunately, crashes do take place across the region. Despite the best efforts of Mike Taluto and you guys and us, crashes still take place. So now we're going to move to the next phase. What happens when we do have a crash? What can we do? And one of the things that we can do is donate blood. So we want to talk with Steve from Geisinger, and we're going to have him here in just a second. Joining me now is Steve Magdalinsky. Did I get it correct?
You got it correct,
A
James.
good local name, that's for sure. Steve Magdalinsky. Steve is with Geisinger, the blood donation side of things. You know, unfortunately, when we were talking with Mike Taluto about the safety aspect of stuff, and we were talking to the DA's office about the enforcement side of stuff, unfortunately, crashes still happen, and there are people who find themselves in a difficult situation. We see all the time, everywhere from a 15, unfortunately, people who are injured, young people, 16, 15, even younger, who are injured in car crashes, to the very elderly. People are in crashes all the time. And so one of the things that we look at is what can we be doing to keep people safe? Well, one of the things we can be doing is making sure that when they are in crashes, that we have a way to save their life. You guys tell me a little bit about the blood drive. What do you guys do? Tell me a little bit about Geisinger
Sure.
and the whole blood drive donation aspect of what you guys do.
Absolutely. So Geisinger Blood Center, we're a local nonprofit blood collection agency. Actually, we're the only blood collection agency, James, that keeps all the blood local. Every drop stays in our local community.
So if I donate to you guys, I know that blood is going to end up in Pittston or Scranton or right in this area.
That is
wow,
correct.
okay. Now when you say local, how wide do you guys go? Like Pennsylvania local or?
Wherever there's a Geisinger facility.
Really?
So
okay.
that is correct.
So the blood I'm giving essentially is going right here to northeastern Pennsylvania.
That is correct.
This area. Okay, interesting. So you guys do the blood drives. What do you see as why is it that you're involved in this? Why is it that you encourage people to donate blood?
Well, as you said, the need is always there. If you think of a typical car accident, one victim can use anywhere from 1 to 100 units of blood.
Now, when I donate, how many units am I? Is that
would count as one.
So that's 1 unit of blood.
It's 1 unit, and 1 unit of blood has the potential to support 3 lives.
So what is it then that determines how much blood somebody needs when they're in an accident?
It really is determined by the severity of the accident.
Okay.
So depending on the extent of this person's injuries, how long they're in surgery. So like I said, a very minor accident, 1 unit of blood may suffice.
Okay.
For someone who may be in there for hours, we've had instances where they certainly could use 100 units, just one person.
Now I will take a minute here and make a personal plug for PennDot. On September 15th, we are doing a blood drive in cooperation with you guys. This is the first time that we've done this with Geisinger. We're going to be hosting a blood drive at our Dunmore facilities. It's for PennDot employees, but I will say if anybody out there watching is interested and willing to participate with us on this, give me a call or email me. You can call me directly, 963-4044. You can email me, jamay@pa.gov, and I'll kind of walk you through, and you can sign up and they can participate in our blood drive. And you guys host numerous other blood drives across the region as well, I assume, correct?
We do. And the community certainly appreciates PennDOT's support of local patients. If your organization, company, school would like to support these local patients as well with the blood drive, simply visit our website, geisingerbloodcenter.org, select host a drive, and we'll get in contact with you and make it happen.
And I will say that you guys have been wonderful to work with. You stopped by the offices to kind of make sure everything was in line and taking place with us. And we talked about the blood staying very local. You sort of have that local approach to things. And it's been great. It's been great working with you. So we'll be hosting our blood drive on September 15th. First time that we're doing this with Geisinger for PennDot. So we're really excited about that. As we said before, we need to make sure people are staying safe on the roads. And unfortunately, that doesn't always happen. So it's nice to know that there's organizations like Geisinger and other organizations that make sure that people, when they are in car crashes, that we still can save lives, because that's the goal of what we're doing. On behalf of Michael Taluto with PennDot, I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank the DA's office for being here with us before. Just want to let you know as well that if your group or organization would ever like information on any of the things that we talked about or anything else dealing with PennDot, we do a lot of stuff with senior drivers, with car seats, with bike helmets, a lot of information that we have available. If your organization would ever like us to come out and speak to one of your groups, again, just email me, jamay@pa.gov, or you can give me a call at 963-4044. On behalf of PennDot, Geisinger, the DA's office, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be right back.